Hello, my name is Prime and welcome back to ATS Showcases, and today I am doing something that I did not expect at all to be doing here on the channel, at least as of right now. I am going to be hauling logs today in this Mack Pinnacle. However, you can tell that we don't have any logs in the trailer yet because with the Arkansas DLC, to at least my surprise, SES Software has extended the dynamic loading and unloading feature to logs as well. And to haul those logs today, we are driving this beautiful Mack Pinnacle. Today's version is just the day cab, as you can tell, and I've done some customization to it to make it a little bit more of a logging truck. However, as the Arkansas DLC is out and available for everyone, and I am now running a full release version of 1.51, the mods can now finally make an appearance, and I am running two very important mods today, one being the True Mirror FOV mod, which you'll notice once we're in the interior of the cab, and then a second mod which is best introduced when you listen to it. The engine and transmission mod has made a return to the channel and is compatible with the brand new Mack Pinnacle, as the mod contains a beautiful Mack MP8 engine sound, which I do believe is made by Gallman. Both links for the mods that are included within this video are linked down in the description below. Alright, enough of my waffling. Let's go ahead and get down to our pickup point. I was going to say delivery point. And this is a beautiful, beautiful pickup location. Another custom depot here in the Arkansas DLC, and it's actually just outside of Harrison, and I'll show you the route that we're going to be going today in a moment once we pick up this delivery. But it is an absolutely beautiful custom logging depot, and in fact, by the looks of it, we have to go all the way down to the very bottom of this snaking trail of, well, basically switchbacks down the hill here. And can we go this way to cut around, or do we have to go all the way around? No, we can actually go this way across the logging facility. Let's make a turn here without hitting the trailer there. A little bit of a tight squeeze between the International over here and that long lowboy trailer. So let's make a left turn out of here. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I certainly am. Unfortunately, I was unable to make a few more videos for a couple days after the quite, well, what I call a blitz of videos here on the Arkansas DLC. So hopefully everyone who has picked up the DLC is enjoying it. I know a number of you did, and I know a number of you are just enjoying the content and waiting for the DLC. I'm going to pick it up in a little bit later. So we have to actually make a right here. There's another pickup location down there, or drop off, depending on what you're doing. I know it's fantastic to have Arkansas finally out for everyone. I know a lot of you have been enjoying it, and yeah, I'm happy to be back here and doing something completely different. If you would have told me that dynamic log loading and unloading would have been included with the Arkansas DLC, I would have maybe called you crazy. But here we are. Now, maybe some of you mighty fine detectives may have actually noticed this. I did not. Now, I was a little bit suspicious when I was doing early access and noticed that the various pickup locations here, oh, there's a cool bridge here. How neat. Some of the locations here in the custom depots kind of had these log loader looking things that were, well, suspicious looking, and really did make it look like we'd have to, well, load up like this. So I guess we'll swing around because it looks like it's facing the other direction here. So I'm assuming this then just does a cutscene, or is it similar to the other dynamic loading unloading? I do not know. So let's swing around here. Obviously ownable logging trailer here today, the full 6 poster. So let's go exterior view here because this is going to be quite entertaining, I do believe. Hopefully it is. Hopefully it works smoothly as well. So go to yellow. I missed it already. Look at that. Good start, Prime. Good start. Oh, there we go. Oh, and he's off to work already. He's mighty fast. Oh, my word. That is great. I don't know what I was expecting with this feature, but my word, it's fantastic. It actually does a pretty good job at animating it to a realistic point. Obviously, swinging around, the whole loader's doing its thing. Dropping in, and the logs aren't really glitching into each other. Obviously, it pops in different stages. Oh, it's doing a third grab. Oh, would you look at that? That's pretty neat. Now, I will admit, a greedy side of me would say that I'd love to have the logs kind of fall into place and not just kind of pop into existence into a more unified form. But hey, that's me getting ahead of myself. I guess SES Software, you set standards way too high. Yeah, that's This is really incredible. It even puts the straps on it as well. Well, would you look at that? There we go. Cargo has been loaded. The crane is now back in the starting location. So let's show where we're going today. So we are outside of Harrison, Arkansas today. Technically discovered it when I came up here to this facility up here. So we're in this Chuck and Jones, or Chuck and Jack's. Chuck and Jack's, yeah, not Chuck and Jones, logging facility here just outside of Harrison. And we're going to head down, pass through Little Rock once again, a very famous city here in the Arkansas DLC, and I think one that a lot of us will go through quite frequently, down to El Dorado, or El Dorado, depending on how you like to say it, to another facility here at Chuck and Jack's, where, as far as I know, it will dynamically unload as well, which is something I have never actually been able to get working here in American Truck Simulator. Actually, I'm going to do one thing first here to guarantee that we be able to dynamically unload. And that one thing is change from skill parking to always select. Now, this is something that some of you have recommended because the skill parking does not always mean that it's the dynamic unloading side. And for those who've been around a bit, and we'll go ahead and get rolling here and test out this Mack Pinnacle. I believe it's about a 500 horsepower engine in it today with the logs, which are about 31,000 pounds. So a hefty thing at the end of the day. So this is something that some of you have recommended, which, by the way, thank you very much. It's a great tip, I do believe, because the skill parking in general was the loading and the unloading, I should say, doesn't always mean that you're actually going to dynamically unload. Often it's the kind of the middle option, I do believe. I can't remember the name of it officially, but basically it's not the skip parking. It's not the easiest one. You know, there's a few options there, and I've always just done skill parking because I like a challenge, and it makes for some pretty entertaining reverses here on the channel. Some of them that fall flat pretty quickly, and some of them that do well. But if you actually select and not select the highest one, I do believe the dynamic unloading will just work. Now, I'm going to hope that this is the case for this delivery as well. I honestly do not know, but I'm going to try and guarantee it here by at least selecting the delivery type, and hopefully I select the correct one. And honestly, I'm probably going to save just before I do that, and hopefully I remember to do that because I actually want to experience it for once, and I want to be able to make sure that I'm selecting the correct option and not pulling a huge blunder and, well, basically choosing the wrong option for what I need to do. So let's get around this tight corner once again. They parked in the worst spot. There's the dynamic, dynamic loading has worked. The true FOV mirrors working hard today. Love that mod. Same with the engine mods as well. Great to have them back. And yeah, let's hope we can use some dynamic loading unloading as well, which will be down the line. Arkansas DLC is out, my friends, and hopefully everyone is enjoying it. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to kind of reiterate it for those who may have skipped through the loading. If you have done so, because I do have chapters on this video, to each their own. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I am just happy to be back here in American Truck Simulator. A lot has happened, and a lot happened with the release of the Arkansas DLC as well. Obviously, the biggest thing is that, well, the Arkansas DLC released and is available for purchase for around $15, depending on your currency. Oh, hit the horn. Sorry about that. And honestly, it is a fantastic DLC. Obviously, opens up a lot of opportunities here. Obviously, with the dynamic loading and unloading of logs as well, which is a very neat addition, along with a number of things. Now, the release also brought an update to the forestry machinery DLC for those who own that. So there's a couple new pieces of cargo as far as I'm aware on that one, and maybe I'll try and do that in a future video here. Now, I'll be honest, I was not planning actually to come up here to Harrison. I was going to try to go more on the kind of, well, shall I say more northwestern side of the state, and it's gonna be a little bit of a challenge to get out of here, I think. Look at all the log trailers coming out of this direction. 4 in a row, and then a bus. Okay, well, at least that broke the rhythm there, or the pattern, I should say. 4 in a row. Now let's not crash to traffic coming on oncoming directions today. We're gonna just use a little bit of dirt runoff there to get around the corner. Beautiful stuff. Let's just listen to this beautiful engine mod as well. I think that sounds a lot better, my friends. That resembles an MP8, but I know a lot better than the default sounds. All credit. The default sounds are okay, but given my first look of the Mack Pinnacle and the multitude of comments that video received, side note, thank you so much for the support on those trio of videos that I did with the Arkansas DLC, and of course then the Mack Pinnacle. Amazing support. I do appreciate all the interaction and of course the support on those videos. It's absolutely fantastic to see. Regardless, a lot of you agreed, and including people who drive Mack Pinnacles, that yes, they sound kind of more weak like that now. However, there's also a bit of a hollowness to it, and there's just some of the tuning of the engine sounds just aren't there. Now, I feel like we're going to have an issue here with the traffic because we had, what, 4 logging trucks ahead of us here go by, and then the bus. We just need a break in traffic here, which I think we're getting, so maybe we're okay. I don't know if they're all turning right or if they're trying to turn left. If they're all trying to turn right, we're probably in good shape. If they're trying to go straight or left, we may be in a bit more of a time delay here. So we'll hope for the best. Is that truck gonna go? Or is he still waiting? He's going. Is he going straight? Yeah, he's going straight. Let's hope that a lot of these 2 white trucks ahead just go right all there, but they don't have indicators on. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, at least traffic's moving. It's not the worst traffic jam we've had. Not as bad as city life. We'll say that much. It's not too bad. That guy's going straight through the intersection as well. I wonder what's ahead of us here. I mean, it must be... Obviously, there's a lot of forestry around here, given where we're picking up. And maybe there's a competitor to Chuck and Jack's just across the road. Maybe all those guys have a contract with them. That would be neat. Side note, contracts in ATS, besides, obviously, your point A to point B contracts, proper contracts with, say, a company, let's say with Chuck and Jack's, we have a contract where we have to haul logs or various equipment, depending on what type of trailer you have, say with logs or lumber, whatever can go into it, and it's a chain situation. So you say haul logs to a certain facility, you then haul something from another facility to another place, and then basically just deadhead back, or what's it called? I think it's deadheading, right? Just basically driving empty with your load. I can't remember. Maybe deadhead is aircraft. I feel like I've heard that was aircraft more than trucking. But anyways, return empty, for example, unless if there's another cargo that you can take back to a logging facility. I think that would be really neat to have more company-based contracts more than just point A to point B. Properly using the logistics chain and network that's kind of being built into American Truck Simulator anyways, I think that would be a really neat addition. But maybe that's something down the road. There's a number of things in the works for American Truck Simulator, I'm sure. So maybe that will come one day, maybe not. I guess only time will tell. So with the Arkansas DLC release, obviously brings in a brand new community event, that being the Cruising Arkansas. Hopefully everyone is enjoying that. For those who have a World of Trucks account, which is free to do, by the way, fairly straightforward to set up. Maybe that's a prime how-to for the future. Regardless, it is absolutely fantastic to have another community event, and there's a couple prizes that you can get by completing your deliveries to each of these cities, as far as I know, within Arkansas. And so you just have to haul cargo to and or from each of the cities, just cover them. And then obviously there's the community goal as well, which then plays off of the total amount of deliveries and I think miles actually completed within the Arkansas DLC. So that is really, really neat. Obviously, in a weird way though, this delivery is not on that on that community event, so I am actually losing out on that opportunity for this delivery, just because I was able to actually find this one pretty quickly in the standard cargo market. That's why I'm doing it, and not on the external market instead, which would be the other option. Obviously, with the ownable trailer, just all worked out, having it more in-game, and to be honest, I set this delivery up prior to being able to record it on a different day. So the World of Trucks contract would expire and I'd be left without a delivery, which would be not ideal. So standard in-game cargo it is, so then time freezes. You gotta love that. Control time a little bit, and everything works out fine. You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, and honestly, I'm happy to be at least hauling this delivery and being able to at least dynamically load it, and fingers crossed I can figure out the unloading as well. I don't know if it's the same as the chip van and grain trailer, where it is very much dependent on your unloading type basically, or your delivery type, or your parking type, I guess is what it's called. There's a lot of different ways to say it. That car kept creeping out into my lane there, my word. There's a lot of different ways to say it, but with the ownable grain trailers and now the chip van trailers, both of them are obviously very dependent on your delivery option, because when it's set to skilled parking, I have yet to find a depot that would actually allow me to do so, which has been very disappointing, honestly. Obviously the chip van trailer, the unloading part isn't there, at least as of recording this video. However, the grain trailers are in the unloading feature of the dynamic unloading feature overall, but I've never been able to experience that. Honestly, a true shame. I wish it wouldn't have been the case like that in the past. If I would have maybe thought about that all the way through and say, oh yeah, these dynamic unloadings generally don't involve a very difficult delivery because they're going over a hopper per se, and they're more or less just kind of a pull-in, pretty simple delivery. So that would kind of explain honestly why it's been like that, and I probably should have thought about that, but I didn't. So once again, thank you to everyone who has commented that. Now I know there's been a couple people specifically that I saw, and I believe even Hard to comment, but I know I've seen a number of comments come through now that kind of say a similar thing. So I do appreciate everyone looking out for me, trying to have my back and trying to help me out a bit with being able to discover these things. I do appreciate it greatly. I can only do so much. I am only human, and I can only figure out so much as well. My few brain cells rubbing together pretty hard sometimes to create videos and make sure that commentary runs smoothly, not to mention just setting things up and trying to be creative. So I do appreciate you guys just trying to look out for me a little bit, give me some tips and tricks, because it goes both ways, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that I know everything about the game, because I do not, and I'm not going to pretend to know everything about the game. I know a lot of you know a lot more than me at the game. Yes, I may have some tips and tricks on certain things that I am more than happy to share, not to mention just general knowledge of stuff that's coming up, for example, and just being able to communicate with you guys about what the wonderful game of American Truck Simulator it is overall. But it comes back as well. You all have fantastic recommendations for different deliveries, obviously different cargo types as well, and different tips and tricks on how the game mechanically should be run, and I do appreciate that greatly. Speaking on that front, I've got some different Prime how-tos in the work, and maybe you're watching this video and it's around the time where I've actually put out a community post, but I am planning on putting out a community poster quiz asking what your thoughts out of the few kind of ideas that will be coming down the pipeline anyways. Which one would you like to see first? Now, I think I know what the answer will be. However, I have not put that out yet, so I do not know, but keep an eye out on the community tab if I haven't done so already, but I'm going to try and have it out for the launch of this video. So if you're watching it newer or upon this video release, take a look at the community tab on the channel. You should be able to find it, but got a couple plans there. Oh, there's a couple cars pulled over. Got to slow down. Accident by the looks of it. Yeah, fender bender. Not a good place to have it either. On the interchange itself, not a good spot at all. I've got a few ideas, different how-tos that I get a lot of questions about in general, and I think one will be a very hot topic, and one that will be very popular, I do believe. A lot of the, well, actually, all the Prime how-tos are incredibly popular, and I do thank you all for the support on that series. Did not realize that they would be so popular, and in fact, from what I remember, the top four top viewed videos on the channel are all the Prime how-to series. so that's pretty funny. once again, thank you all so much for that support because, as far as I know, I've only done 4 of them. The how-to convoy and then the 3-part getting started. And I'm pretty sure they're all the top 4 on the channel. So, tells me very clearly that you all really love it, and they still do really well as well. They continually grow and bring a lot of new people to, of course, the channel and American Truck Simulator and ATS 2 as well, because they are technically interchangeable, all of my tutorials on the games. I do explicitly say that. So future ones will follow that same mark. Kind of no... let's just say as straight to the point as I can get it, with especially the few I've got planned. Mainly in the settings realm, I'll give you that. There's a lot of tips and tricks that I've learned and a lot of things that people will want to know about. And I get a lot of questions on certain things as well. So we're going to go over that. I'm going to try and make it as, you know, concise and just to the point as possible, and kind of get rid of a lot of the, I mean, I hate to be so blunt, but a bit of the creator garbage of what a lot of channels do for some of these tutorials on the settings topics, especially on the visual side, hint hint, nudge nudge, because they always try to explain, you know, there's the low, medium, and high tier. You, based on your computer, these settings will guarantee you play at whatever settings. Well, sure, it will most of the time, but that's not really the point, is it? We all want to have the game run as smoothly as possible at the highest quality that is possible overall. And a lot of people, I get a ton of questions, obviously a lot of praise as well, or shall I say compliments on the quality of ATS and how I have it settings, or how it's running, and asking, are you using visual mods? Well, no, I don't. But my biggest thing and kind of gripe with a lot of tutorial videos out there on YouTube for various topics is that they always try to categorize people into certain things. Obviously, computer hardware, even if you're not very techy, is complicated, and there's so many variables that go into, well, let's say if you have 2 identical laptops, there are still other conditions at play when playing a game or having the software installed that will affect performance. It's really, it's straightforward as that. And so I really do not like when people put into these categories of saying, let's say with the graphics, you got low, medium, high. You do these, you're guaranteed to have, say, 60 frames per second at certain resolutions. Sure, but it's probably still not going to look very good for what you're actually potentially getting with your equipment. So it's that learning in a simple form, or at least as simply as I'll be trying, as I've been trying to make it in planning, trying to teach that basically what settings are actually worth it to do. Which ones are worth it to boost up? Which ones should you just basically put the low and you're never going to know the difference? Those are all the things that one tutorial will be covering. So for those watching this video to this point, you're welcome. But I have a feeling that particular video idea is going to be the top of the community poll for what wants to come next. So we're just going to run with that. Me kind of planning that one first. Well, I've been planning them all anyways, but that's probably coming soon. So keep an eye out on the channel for that one. But yeah, my tutorials, I try to keep a little bit different. I think a lot of you see that. Obviously, I try to give some different avenues as well. Don't try to conform people into certain ways. And I want to give it more of a simplistic approach. And I'm not going to do all the garbage of, you know, I have to do some disclaimers for certain things or whatever. There's a little bit of intro talking and stuff like that. But I don't try to do the whole, you know, promotion stuff for the channels. Like, if you're new here, do this and that. I try to avoid that at all costs. You all know that. Tutorials are supposed to help, not annoy. Simple as that. So that's my plan. That's what I'm going to do. I've got a number of things in the pipeline. I'm sure a lot of you will be very excited for those to come. I certainly am. And it's going to be very interesting to see how things go. So it looks like we're getting close here to El Dorado. I don't know how you how everyone likes to say it. I know some people will say El Dorado, or draw the A, and then some will say El Dorado. Again, depends on your pronunciation, local or not. I honestly toss it back between the two. I think I said El Dorado a lot in the Prime News. Some people said I should have done it El Dorado. Other people said El Dorado. It's going to be like that, friends. I'm going to have cities that I can pronounce. There's going to be cities and towns that I just can't. Or I give a different pronunciation too. And I'm Canadian, okay? So give me a break. I am not from the southern U.S., so I am not familiar with these names, or of certain towns at least, and the pronunciation of them, the local pronunciation. For Pete's sake, even up here in Canada, we have some towns and cities that are interesting, to say the least, in terms of pronunciation, and often we'll even get them confused, especially road names. And we're going to get over here. That truck is just stopped. Get over. Here we go. So I know a lot of you don't blame me for trying. And at least I do try. But okay, that car, Subaru, come on, man, just get by me, please, so I can get back over to the right-hand lane. Okay, we're gonna get over it. We're gonna bully the AI behind me. Slow up. Thank you. And looks like we're getting close to the Chuck and Jacks, which is good. Might as well get the headlights kind of turning on. Oh, we gotta slow down here. Don't brake too fast there, Prime. I do apologize for all the real truckers out there who maybe get a little bit annoyed at times with how I brake and slow down. Yes, you are correct. I know I've had a number of comments, and honestly, some days I just forget. It also depends on the truck. I'm not trying to make excuses, but some of the trucks have different braking capabilities I found in ATS, or my settings change with mods. My braking sensitivity in the game sometimes changes, so I can't really gauge sometimes the brakes that well, and sometimes they're more sensitive than not. However, I do know that some days I absolutely slam on the brakes, and in real life that would be not advised given the, well, physics of a truck and the amount of mass that you're slowing down. So I do apologize for maybe the little bit of shivers you get down your spine if you see me absolutely lay on the brakes coming up to cars and slow down, you know, say 40 miles an hour in the span of a couple truck lengths. Just because it's a simulator. I do apologize for that. I'm trying. I am not perfect by any means, but I am trying. So that's all that matters. Now, thinking about this, now as we're pulling up to the Chuck and Jacks here, I'm going to actually look on the map while I'm at it. Did it keep the red delivery dot? I don't know where it is in there. I thought it was potentially over here early. So I want to make sure that the setting change I did actually reflected properly. So then I don't accidentally have a situation where I can't deliver here. It looks like it's probably fine. I think with the logs, the skilled parking would be the unloading, but again, we're going to play it safe and figure this one out. So as we get closer, hopefully, I am then just selecting an option. So what I will then do is we'll do a quick save here, and that way I can go back to that checkpoint basically, and I don't have to worry about, well, making a wrong choice on the settings. Wide turn there. Get around that corner. We'll drive into the facility. Big facility here. Big timber processing facility by the looks of it. Very unique. I do like to see it. Alright, well, there is a green icon, and it looks like we have to select it. So that's a good shout. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pull up in front of it, and then I'm going to save, and then we're going to select the proper parking, and we are going to go from there, and let's see how this goes. Alright, oh, it does actually say, where do you need it? Dynamic. So, that is skilled parking, correct? So it would have actually done it. Okay, well, let's drive through here. And let's see where it goes. So I don't know, maybe skilled parking is it for the logs, but it's not for some of the other ones, or is where do I need it a different option, and skilled parking defaults into just the basic. I feel like where do I need it has always been the skilled parking. But again, who am I to know that? I've had skilled parking as a default set for so long, I am even forgetting a fundamental of the game. And I should have gone around the front. But what we'll do is we'll actually do something crazy and reverse into the spot. And maybe test out these mirrors, or at very least just look out the door here, which I think may be a better shout. So let's see. We got to get more over to the right-hand side. I love the true FOV mirrors. It just feels more natural, even though I don't reverse. Obviously, I transport truck and trailer in real life, well, ever. It just reversing, other trailers in life just feels more natural looking out of a mirror that looks like this instead of, well, stock. Let's just kind of put a little bit more bluntly. All right, well, I hugged the loader a little bit tighter than I probably should have, but is that going to accept it? Yeah, it is. Let's go ahead and stop, and it's going to unload, which is fantastic to see. Look at that, he's going in. Tires are still on, bud. Oh, never mind, they just magically popped off. He would have gotten a nice old big load of trailer in that as well, and we would have been talking to the main office very quickly because the whole trailer would have been picked up there, or at least tried to. Actually, it is just a track loader. I maybe would have picked up the trailer, or the straps maybe broken. I don't know. It depends on maybe the quality of your straps. I don't know. Any experienced truckers out there have ever had that happen where a loader was or unloader was a little bit more anxious, shall we say, to get moving and tried to unload while straps were still on? That'd be crazy situation, but hey, it is possible. You never know. And that should be that. So I don't know if it does a cutscene after this or what, or if it just automatically ends your delivery. I guess we're going to find out, aren't we? It automatically ends the delivery. Well, how neat is that? Well, I would say that was a very successful delivery. We might as well go ahead and shut off the truck. Thank you all so much for watching. What a fantastic episode. Such a unique feature, and one that I am so excited to see in American Truck Simulator. Comment down below what you think about the Arkansas DLC overall for those who have been playing on it. And what else do you want to see from me here on the channel? Maybe it's involving the Mack Pinnacle here with the beautiful engine mods that we can now run in it. Or maybe you have something else that you'd like to see me do. Comment down below. I always try to keep the options in mind. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.